And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, Darren back with you again here at Cross Timbers Farm. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles. Today we're out here in our little test plot for our hay that we manage, and we use this little third of an acre, something like that, half an acre, as a kind of a testing grounds for our hay. We work this extensively. We've done a lot of work to this plot, and we try various things. We weed control and seeding and things of that nature. And what we learn here, what we do with our dirt and our clover that feeds the nitrogen and stuff to the other grasses, our orchard grass, and putting our chicken manure for fertilize all on this grass. We use that as kind of, you might call a testing ground or a proving ground, this little plot for what we're going to do in our main hay fields for hay production. So we cut this plot, I want to say somewhere in mid-July, and it is now mid-September, so it's been growing roughly 7 to 8 weeks. And we've been monitoring it closely, and it's doing really, really well. We're very happy with it. So much that we're going to go ahead and cut this small section of our hay again. It'll be the last cutting of the year. Our main hay fields, we're not going to be cutting them again this year. They're going to be left tall for what I like to call standing hay for the winter for our animals. So we're not going to be cutting that until next spring or next summer, excuse me. But we are going to cut this, and we're going to kind of see what we've got here as far as how much production we get per square footage of this, to see if a lot of our practices are paying off. And from just looking at this hay, I believe they're paying off. Our orchard grass some of it's starting to come to seed head, which is good. Actually probably want to cut most of it before it gets to seed head, but we've had a lot of rain, and so this is the only time we've had the chance. So we'll watch the weather really close, and we see that we've got several days of sunshine and no rain, and so this may be our only opportunity to cut this patch of hay, our testing plot, to see what we get. And this will be primo, #1, grade A, horse quality hay. So we're looking really forward to getting this baled and getting it in our barn for winter. Our dairy goats are absolutely going to feast on this hay this winter. So this little plot, we don't get a whole lot of hay off of it. With the mini round bale, we might get, I don't know, 6 or 7 bales maybe. It's not a lot, because it's a very small piece of ground that we use for our testing. So we're going to get this cut, and it's going to take several days of drying, because the temperatures right now is only in the 70s. And your hay will dry a lot better if it's up in the 80s or even 90s. But we are in mid-September, and the temperatures are starting to drop and cool down. So it'll take it a few more days to dry. This plot is so small that I can come through with a deer fork, the hay fork, after it's cut in a couple of days, and I can just flip this over by hand if I need to. It's not a big section of ground, so it's easily doable to just come in here and just rake it around by hand, with a midday, and keep it flipped to keep it dry. We're going to see what our maximum output is on this hay. We've got some patches of it. It's not quite as thick as others. I don't know, maybe Susan spread the chicken manure out a little thicker in some places than others. Don't tell her I'm blaming that on her, but it could be me. But anyway, let's take a quick look at the hay. I think I've showed you some of it in some previous videos. We'll take a real quick look and then we're going to get to mowing this hay. It's looking good. We got nice stands of red clover and stands of orchard grass and stands of tall fescue, and it's looking really, really good. We're happy with it, so we're going to get to cutting. Okay folks, we're ready to start mowing some hay. As you can see, we have got our Maxx FDM 135 drum mower hooked up, and we've adjusted our top link to get our mower the right way level, and we've adjusted our adjustable side link to get our level left and right, or side to side, all in order and level for a nice clean cut. And I think that's really key when you're using a drum mower, and well, really probably any mower, but especially a drum mower where it's riding on those two drums, to get everything nice and level. I see some folks that seem to have frustration with drum mowers a little bit, saying it's not cutting that well and a lot of different things. And I think a lot of it has to do with somebody just has not taken the time to adjust their links and their mower correctly before they start mowing. Now, I'm not saying everybody does that. That's the reason they're not getting a nice cut. But my experience so far is, if you take the time to get your drum mower set up right, get it level this way and this way, and get that thing sitting just right with that pin on the bar, that sliding pin right in the middle, to allow your drum mower to move with the contours of your field, then you're going to get a really nice cut. So we've got everything adjusted, and let's get to mowing. Okay folks, we have finished mowing our test plot, or our testing grounds for our hay production. As usual, the little FDM 135 Maxx drum mower ran phenomenal. Of course, it's a little small section that we can mow pretty darn quick, but it's really thick. It hadn't, the height on it was about perfect as far as the growth of the hay. Some seed heads had already came in the orchard grass and the tall fescue, and some hadn't. Most of it hadn't. And I'm no expert on forages. So my learning has been through the school of hard knocks. Even though we've only recently got into cutting our own hay, we've had our hay cut for years, and I keep an eye on it and have worked on it for years, and I'm really enjoying cutting it ourselves because I get to see the fruits of the labor. Even though I did before, but I got more of a hand in it, and it's nice. I'm enjoying it. But I'm no expert on forage, but I've done a lot of studying, and in the day and age of information that we live in with the internet and the World Wide Web and the availability of good information, granted, you've got to be able to sort through and get the good information that you need and filter out the bad or what does not fit your application. But I'm not an expert, but my daughter is. My daughter is a agriculture student, and she's in her senior year, and she has done extensive study on forages and hay production and soil maintenance and maintaining soil and soil levels and all the different kinds of hay and forages, alfalfa and red clover and clovers and even Bermuda grasses and orchards and timothy and you name it. She studied it extensively, and her assistance when she gets home from college is going to be outstanding. We're going to have actually somebody with a degree in basically hay on our property, so we're looking really forward to that. All this schooling is paying off for her. So, but anyway, our hay is the part that hadn't developed a seed head yet was really close, and from my understanding that is prime. That's when you want to cut your hay. A lot of folks want to wait and cut their hay when it's really tall and really big, and there's nothing wrong with that if your growth stage of that particular hay is to the right point. If the right point means it's that high, then you need to cut it there. If the right point means, you know, it's this high there, and if the right point's over my head, then you cut it when it gets over your head. You cut it at the right stage in the growth. So we're getting late in the year here in the mountains, and we usually only get 2 cuttings a year because of our elevation, and the growing season is shorter. But our hay here in the front, while not as tall, was really, really thick and really, really good hay. Let's go take a look at a little bit of it. It is fantastic. I could not be happier with this hay. Okay, let's take a walk out here, and you can see it sure looks different from just a short time ago. The hay is down, and the Kubota and the farm Maxx has done its job. Let's take a look at some of this hay. Boy, it looks fantastic. I'm not kidding. Okay, folks, we got the hayfield cut, and I could not be happier with this hay. It looks fantastic, and the fescue, the tall fescue in it, and our orchard grass. Here's a big clump of red clover. Looks really good. I think I could probably sort through this hay row by row and piece by piece, and the weeds that's in it would be a handful. I mean, it is fantastic. Our weed control is working, spraying at the opportune times of the year when growth is optimal, and it's really working. It's working really, really good. And if you look at how the drum mower cuts our hay, I'm really, really happy with it. It lays it down really nicely, almost like in a windrow. And when you look at it, you almost think it ain't even cut, that all it's done is just the blades has just pushed it all into to the middle and just kind of laid it over and smushed it down. You know, you think it, you almost wonder if it's even cut it, but I want you to look. Man, that is some good hay. I'm not kidding you. That is a top shelf. Let me get the camera and let you take a little closer look at this hay. It looks really nice. Our hay looks really good. This is going to be top shelf hay. It's got a excellent mixture of orchard and Timothy. Let me grab a handful right here and let you, or I'm sorry, I said Timothy, orchard and tall fescue. And red clover is fantastic for your hay. Not only do the animals love the leaves are super rich in protein. One thing that red clover does is it adds nitrogen into your ground, and it adds the nitrogen and things into your soil that your orchard grass and your tall fescues thrive on. This has got good, nice leaves. Even the orchard is got good, nice leaves. It's looking really, really good. But the red clover is, in my opinion, super important in your grass pasture hay fields for grass hay. I think if you plant straight orchard or straight Timothy or straight tall fescue, and you don't add some red clover into your seed mix, you're kind of missing the boat. It eliminates a lot of fertilization that you have to do, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for regenerative soil techniques and things to do to make our farm stand out and produce the best hay possible without all of the chemical fertilizers and things like that. We use a lot of chicken manure on our pastures. Our chickens are free range. We let them out every day after about lunchtime. We keep them locked in the coops and the runs until about lunch so they don't lay eggs out under the trees and the bushes and places we can't find them. But we keep them locked up until after about noon, and then we turn them out every day to free range the rest of the day. And they get out in this pasture, in this test pasture, and they scratch and they poop and they do what chickens are supposed to do, and they're really fertilizing our pasture for us. And every year when we clean the coops out a couple times a year, we then take the concentrated chicken manure and we spread it across our pastures, our hay fields, for fertilize. And then you top that with the red clover growing in the middle of your grass hay, and it's producing things into your soil that's needed. The chicken manure is dissolving and putting rich nutrients into your soil that it needs, and your end result is fantastic hay. Fantastic hay. Now you got to get your weeds under control, and it seems like about every hay producer, farmer that I talk to about hay, it's not long till the topic of weed control comes up, and weeds is a problem. But we've done weed management and tried different techniques in this section of pasture, and it's really paid off. Our test plot looks good. Okay folks, thanks for being with us this afternoon and this evening here at Cross Timbers Farm, for coming along with us while we cut the hay on our test plot, our test pasture, whatever you want to call it. It's coming along real nicely. The fruits of our labors are starting to show themselves, and we're really happy with that. I hope the wind that's blowing this afternoon's not ruining the audio on this, but anyway, the Kubota and the little Farm Maxx FDM 135 drum mower, I'm telling you, this little drum mower, I am so satisfied with it that it's perfect for a subcompact or a compact tractor, and it mows great. I couldn't be more pleased with it. So next year, through a whole haying season, we'll really put it through the paces and see how the durability is and longevity. And I think it's going to be good, because when you're putting this thing together, you notice right away that this thing's built really heavy duty. Really thick steel in the frame and the gearbox and all that, and the drums, and I believe the durability of it's going to be good, but we're going to find out, because we're going to put it through the paces next year and see how it performs. But as of right now, it performs fantastic, and our little Kubota L3200 is a fantastic little tractor. We're so happy with it. I like the gear drive model. It does have a single stage clutch, which, you know, presents a little bit of an issue that you have to learn to overcome when you're using some haying equipment like the little mini round baler, and even when you want to stop and turn or something, the drum mower will start slowing down because the power to the PTO goes away when you push in the clutch, if you just want to turn. But we're learning. It's a learning curve, and not all tractors are single stage transmissions, gear drive transmissions like ours, and ours is, and we like it that. For all other uses, I would rather have this gear drive tractor. You know, I feel like I can control the power when the power is being applied and when it's not, a little more, by being able to change gears and put it in different gears, and low range and high range, and first, you know, through fifth gear and fourth gear. And I feel like I got a little bit more say-so, if you want to put it that way, over the power. So, but anyway, it's all working great. Our hay's turning out real good. Next step is to rake it, and our temperatures are only in the 70s, and are only supposed to be in the low 70s for the next week or two. But we're supposed to have really sunny weather with real low humidity and a breeze. It's pretty breezy out today, and if the wind will keep blowing, it'll help dry this hay. And luckily, it's a small patch of hay that if I come out here and check it and it needs tedded, hey, I can take a Durafork, and it'll take me a couple hours, but I can ted this hay by hand if I need to. That's why I like the little test plot. But hopefully before next year we'll have a tedder to do our main fields with. So anyway, thanks for being with us today. Stay with us, and the next step we'll do is to keep a check on it day to day and see how the drying process is going, and then we'll rake it up, and we'll get the little Farm Maxx FMRB 330 mini round baler out here and get it hooked to the tractor, and get this stuff baled up. And by the way, we've got a project that we've working on and have been working on for a week or so that I think everybody that's a fan of the Redlands Ashland Farm Maxx mini round baler is going to really like. So we're doing some modification. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for being with us here at Cross Timbers Farm this evening at 8th Day Chronicles. We appreciate you stopping by and watching the videos and supporting us, and thank you so much. God bless, and y'all have a good afternoon.